over the past few years, I've been working as a full-time medical doctor, a poultry farmer, and over the last year, I added being a YouTuber to that very list. And yes, I was successful at all of them. I was good, and I know that. Why? Because my results can tell. At my medical job, I was constantly being recognized and awarded for my excellence. On my poultry farm, for everyone that has been following my YouTube channel, it's very obvious that my farm has grown and I'm having very positive results. And my YouTube channel has been able to grow to over 100,000 subscribers in less than 1 year. People have been asking me, how on earth do you manage to do this? And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys just how I did it. So please stick around. Hi guys, my name is Dr. Daniel, and recently I resigned from my full-time medical job as a doctor to pursue my life as a farmer. And so if you're interested in farming, livestock farming, poultry farming to be particular, you are in the right place. I'm very passionate about poultry farming. So please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell, that way you never miss out on an upload, and don't forget to hit the like button. If you've taken the care to notice, people who are usually very good and successful in one thing are usually very good and successful in very many other things. Usually when you take a look at them, it's very obvious that these people are very successful. You'll always look at someone and wonder how they managed to start 4 or 5 companies and be very skilled at doing very many things. And then the people who can do nothing usually can do nothing. Guys, it's not because those people are just talented at one thing. No, it's because they have a particular mindset and a particular set of principles that ensures that they are good at very many things. It's simply about applying those principles and mindset to everything that they do. And when you do that, you become excellent at very many things. And I believe that's what has enabled me to be successful. It's not that I was good at poultry when God created me, or I was good at being a doctor. I was blessed, I was supposed to be a doctor. I don't believe in that. I do believe that it's a particular mindset, a particular kind of thought pattern, a particular way that I do things that enabled me to be excellent and successful. And so today I'm going to be telling you guys the things that I believe have enabled me to stand out from who I am and what I am and be successful at almost everything that I'm doing. Number 1, faith and determination. I believe that this is the primary thing, the principal thing, the foundational thing. You have to believe that you can be successful. I've always had this belief that if others have made it, then I can make it. Why is it that there are people who started poultry farms and they have 1 million birds, they have 2 million birds? There are people who have gone on to become very, very good doctors, have very huge careers in being a doctor. Or there are people who have started a YouTube channel and they have, 100 million subscribers. If they have done it, certainly I can make it. I know there are people who have failed at it. I know there are people who have started poultry farms and their chickens get sick. So if I started out thinking, oh, all these people have gotten their birds sick and their chickens have gotten sick, they have all failed, then I would most probably fail, because in case something came up that required me to make a critical decision, for example, my birds got sick, like recently my birds got sick, I would start feeling like, oh, my birds are also going to get sick at the moment, and then I would give up. With the right mindset, you're more likely to make the correct decisions that come along with it. And with the wrong mindset, you're more likely to make very wrong decisions because you're not inspired. You don't have some kind of inspiration. Guys, when you have inspiration, I know this because I love music, guys. I manage to play the guitar and I play the ukulele and I occasionally sing. And I know this because there are times that you wake up and you want to write a song, but you have no inspiration. It's simply a desire that you have. You wake up thinking, this morning I should write a song. But with no inspiration, it is so hard to write that song. It will be so tiresome. You write the song, try coming up with the lyrics, try coming up with the chords and the rhythm, and you'll only do a quarter of the song and it feels so tiring. But with the correct inspiration, with the correct determination, with the correct kind of goal and your eyes seeing in the right direction, it becomes so easy. It kind of builds you and gives you some kind of energy. Number 2, knowing that everything is in my control and whatever happens, I'm responsible for the results. I'll give you guys an example. While I was still doing my medical practice, there was this one day we were in hospital and they brought in a patient, a very young boy. He was in diabetic coma. He had diabetes and he was in coma. So he was unconscious. And it was towards the end of my shift. So I started taking care of him. I diagnosed the diabetic coma because he had never been diagnosed. No one knew that he was diabetic. So we start him on treatment. This was insulin, a drug that's given, just under the skin. But we had to make sure that we monitor his vitals, monitor him every 30 minutes and then give the insulin very often. But at that particular moment in time, the facility I was working at was really understaffed. There were no nurses that I would trust, to be present and be doing these vitals and the monitoring and giving the insulin as often as it would be needed. And then my shift was coming to an end. There was another doctor supposed to come in. But then I knew that if I don't take good care of this patient, this young boy, he's most likely going to pass on, because the person who is going to come in after my shift is also going to be focusing on their patients and, just trying to do what they usually do. But I knew that this person is my responsibility. So I chose not to go home. I chose to, stay at a place very nearby where I could walk into the hospital every 30 minutes and take care of this patient. And this was for the whole night. So the entire night I stayed around and I was moving into the hospital every 30 minutes. And obviously after a few hours, in the night, the person got out of coma, and the following day they got better. After a few days they were discharged. But this was a cautious decision that I made to make sure that this patient doesn't die. Yeah, I knew that it's my responsibility, and if they had passed on, it was very easy for me to have decided that, hey, it wasn't my responsibility, it was someone else's shift. But I chose to do that. It was my responsibility. So if something happens, it is my responsibility. And I love this mindset. Guys, I don't believe in fate. Yeah, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. I don't believe in fate. I do believe that whatever happens in your life is your responsibility. It's very easy to have a victim mindset, and a lot of people find comfort in that because they feel like they won't be blamed. They don't want to feel guilty. But if you want to be a successful person, you have to believe and know that everything that happens in your life is your responsibility. It's my responsibility that I turn out a successful poultry farmer. When I started my poultry farm, like I've already told you guys, people always told me that the birds will die, they will get sick, people are going to steal your eggs, people are going to do all this kind of stuff. And the things have happened to me. But I've taken the responsibility of making sure that I correct them. When I started my YouTube channel, I was told it's very hard. On average, it takes people 18 months to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's on average. And I don't know the number of years. I think 2 years. No, not 2 years. Probably 5 years to get to 10,000 subscribers. And I clearly beat the averages. Why? Because I knew that I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible for example, putting out the correct content on my channel. I'm responsible for everything that happens in my life. So if you take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, it doesn't matter what you're investing into or what you're choosing to focus on, then you're more likely to make decisions and do things that will change it. 3, knowing that I'm never too busy. Whatever is making me busy, I'm doing it because I have chosen to do it. I choose what I do. And what that means is that I can always focus on what I want to do because it's my choice. If I'm getting busy, it is my choice. If I'm free and occupied, it's my choice. If I'm sleeping, it is my choice. Lots of people say they are busy when they're actually sleeping. Well, the sleeping is actually what is making them busy. So I chose in my life to make sure that I'm never too busy. So I chose to focus on the things that I would find developmental for me. I chose to focus on, watching less television, even things like working 2 or 3 medical jobs. I decided against doing that because I know lots of colleagues of mine who are doing 2, 3, 4 medical jobs, and it is okay. That's what they want, and that's what keeps them busy. For me, I knew that if I want to become successful at all these other things in my life, I knew that I just can't become too busy. So I chose to just focus on one medical job and use my other time to do other things that I would also find constructive for me. So you choose what makes you busy. And whilst it's correct that a lot of things that make us busy might actually be very important, for example, my colleagues, these 3 other medical jobs that they have are actually what are giving them the money to be sustainable in their lives. It's also very important to remember that what you choose to make you busy is very important. Think about it very critically. Do you want to get locked up in this whole medical cycle? You know, you don't sleep, you're moving from one job to another your whole life? Because that time that you're using for that, you can use it to concentrate on something else that will probably give you more money. But if it's your passion, then it's okay to get busy that way. You just need to remember that you are as busy as you choose to be. Number 4, I chose to be as excellent as I can at everything that I do. For me, being okay is not good enough. No, I didn't like the idea of just being okay at whatever I'm doing. So I decided that if I'm going to be a doctor, I'll be a good one. If I'm going to be a poultry farmer, I'm going to become the very best that I can with the resources that I have. And if I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I'll do the very best to make it as good as I can make it with the resources that I have. And you guys, it's very clear to you guys that even with my smartphone, guys, I'm recording this video with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I don't have any fancy cameras, I don't have any fancy lightings, any fancy gimbals or anything like that. But I'm able to make this video and upload it, you know, at the very best ability that I have. So I try to focus my attention on being as good as possible, deliver the very best that I can. It's not about the numbers. It's not simply about putting out videos. It's not simply about raising chickens. It's not simply about practicing as a doctor. If you're practicing as a doctor, how good are you as a doctor? The excellence in it is actually more important than you doing it. Because if you're not going to be good at it, then what's the whole purpose of doing it? Just leave and go. Let people who are more determined, people who want to do it nicely, do it. Because the world requires nice stuff, yeah? Like all of us want nice stuff in our lives. If you're going to be giving out things to other people, give them the best that you can offer. Number 5, choose a few tasks and always get done with them. Do them to completion. It doesn't make sense for you to start doing things and leave them midway. What that means is that you can never get good at anything. You'll just have lots and lots of things that you're just okay at. You know, you can do a little bit, but you're never good enough at them. I'll give you guys an example. I remember some time back I decided I wanted to learn an extra language, you know, a foreign language. So I decided to take on Spanish, Espanol, as a language to learn. So I went to YouTube. It was self-taught. YouTube, downloaded lots and lots of tutorials, then downloaded a few PDF books over there and here. And I decided to dedicate a 1-month holiday that we had at the university to make sure that I learned this Spanish. And guys, what I would do is that I would wake up in the morning, have my breakfast, you know, do a little chores around home, and then off I am to study my Spanish. Do it as much as I can. Go have lunch, get back to studying Spanish. By the time the 1 month got done, guys, I was good enough. I was good enough to read a conversation in Spanish. I was good enough to watch, you know, a tutorial or something that was in Spanish. And now I'm actually good enough to watch movies and converse with people in Spanish. So when you choose and start, make sure that you complete. And then finally, spend a little time every day focusing on the skills that you want to perfect, and trust me, you'll become good at them. I remember just before I wanted to start poultry farming, what I decided to do was spend just a few hours every day, probably an hour every day, reading poultry books. I was concentrating a lot on my medical job, but I decided to spend, you know, just an hour or two every day reading about poultry, researching about poultry, and cumulatively it summed up to a lot of knowledge about poultry farming. I remember when I was still at medical school and, you know, we were still being trained, when we would be on the wards and the doctors, the professors would come and ask you questions and you don't know the answer, you know, they would tell you, write it down and go and read. And I remember advice that one of our professors gave us. He told us that all these things that they tell you to go back and read, you know, they're just a single thing, probably the side effects of a particular drug or the mechanism of action of a particular drug. When you get back to your room, go and read it immediately. Just that one thing that they have told you to read up. You know, just a few things. You'll probably leave the word round when you've written down a list of just 5 things that you need to confirm in your head. When you get back, read them. Trust me, you'll never ever forget them. So these little by little small things that you do every day are actually what make you very perfect and apt at what you're doing. It's not sitting down and, you know, doing lots of poultry reading in one day. No, little by little, spending just a few minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, trying to harness the skill that you want to be good at will in the end make you very good at it. Otherwise, that was it. These 6 things I believe are what have helped me become very good at what I do. Not just the poultry farming, YouTube and medicine, but doing very many other things that I've actually been very successful at. And I believe that if you do them, you become very successful too. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. See you very soon in the next upload. Bye bye.